Welcome to this week's Hymn of the Week. This week we have ELW 709, When Our Song Says Peace. The text for this hymn was written by Richard Leach. He wrote this in December 1995, and it was a response to Isaiah chapter 2, verses 1 to 5. Swords into plowshares might ring a bell for you, but feel free to go back and read that. Isaiah 2, 1 to 5. And that was the reading for the first Sunday of Advent. So the text obviously is a response to that. The tune was written by one of his collaborators, Pavlechko, I think might be how you pronounce his name, in 2003. He quickly wrote a tune to match this text. And what happened was they were trying to put this into a collection or have it ready for publishing. And what happened was he had a few hours, actually 23 hours is how long it took from the request to Pavlechko to then actually respond with the completed form back. And of course they were looking for tune in this case. This was named for Summer Jenkins. So as you see the tune name, Jenkins. And Summer Jenkins was Pavlechko's successor at Calvary Church in Memphis. And what's interesting about Summer Jenkins is Summer Jenkins entered the melody that was composed by Pavlechko that was then eventually submitted for the text. And we can also see in this hymn the juxtaposition of two keys here. We see F major, and then we also see D minor. Of course, they're sharing the same key signature, so the D minor, the relative of F major. But what's interesting here, as we hear from some opinions like Westermeyer, God's will for peace could be perceived as the F major that is at the end of each verse. And then the world's trust in war, which would be the way that the world would possibly trust for peace is fighting for it, is in D minor, which is how it starts. So it has this trajectory of the minor to the major. And I will select chords to color that a bit more, maybe some more diminished triads. So here is When Our Song Says Peace. When our song says peace and the world says war, we will sing despite the world. We will trust the song, for we sing of God, who breaks the spear and sword, and stills the storm of war. When our song says free and the world says bound, we will sing despite the world. We will trust the song, for we sing of God, who opens prison doors and stills the captives free. When our song says home and the world says lost, we will sing despite the world. We will trust the song, for we sing of God, who brings us home at last and gives us song to all. It's a beautiful text and reflection to the beating the Isaiah verse of making the swords into plowshares, or beating, I think is the word that's used there. But what's interesting is that each verse in this text by Richard Leach, he really wants to focus, I think, on we will trust the song, for we sing of God. What is that song that we have in our hearts, that song of God? We will trust the song. The promises, hopefully, that God put inside of our hearts, that we would not just sing, but as we sing, we proclaim that God is true and sovereign, and our friend, our companion for our lives, but then at the same time, we also proclaim the truth of Jesus Christ. So I'm going to sing verse 2 one more time. Thank you very much for listening to Hymn of the Week. When our song says free and the world says bound, we will sing despite the world. We will trust the song, for we sing of God, who opens prison doors and sets the captives free.